Father. Okay, so want to do it for the Elias Neshama of Reuben ben Baruch, Mr. Daniel Lyon's father, who is just nifter. So we'll dedicate the shir for that. And let's begin learning about Hanukkah. I should say preparing for Hanukkah. I just learned recently from a friend of mine who's works in Hollywood, the concept of a backstory. It probably sounds simple to you. It means as follows. He said every story has a backstory, and that means that there's a story that led up to the events that you're learning about in the given thing you're focused. So there's a backstory that tells what led up to where you come in, right? So with Hanukkah has a backstory. And let me explain why that's important to understand. If you relate to the Hanukkah story as it's presented, we seem like victims of the Yavanim, of the Greeks, victims of the Hellenists. We seem like, oh, it was terrible. They oppressed us. And that's certainly true. They did indeed oppress us. But it seems like we're these victims. So it's so important when you look at things from a Torah perspective to realize we're never victims, okay? Hashem never puts us in a situation where we're at the hands of somebody for no reason. So the backstory about Hanukkah is we kind of got ourselves into a bit of a mess. And then the Greeks, the Yavanim, came in and shook us up under Hashem's orders. And then we have the miracles. Such an important backstory, because we have to understand what caused that terrible oppression. And many of you may not know, it was 52 years, a decree against Shabbos, a decree against Rosh Chodesh, a decree against learning Torah, right? Not to mention what happened to the base of Mikdash. 52 years, okay? What was the cause of this? The commentator that famously addresses this is the Bach. The Bach says that the Kohanim were mitrashel. They were lax in their avoda in the base of Mikdash, and I think there was an overall laxity amongst the Jewish people. And there's even an indication, the Gemara Sukkah says that one of the mishmars of the Kohanim showed up late. One thing to be late for work, late for yeshiva, those are, terrible, but late to the base of Mikdash. And that was the problem then. Now, the Hashmonaim, as we know, they responded with tremendous mesiras nefesh to recover the avoda, and that did it. So I'm telling you this backstory so that we will approach Hanukkah in a way that will not just celebrate and thank Hashem, which is ikar, very essential. Not only that, but I want us to rectify, to work on rectification too. And that's what we're going to do is called the 8-day challenge. We're going to be sending out some exercises and tools, but I'm going to give an overview tonight of the whole 8-day battle against rote. If you think about it, in other words, in some level, on their level, there was a mechanical expression of avodas Hashem back then. So that's why kavanah l'mitzvahs during Hanukkah can be a major tikkun, right? And it will obviously help us connect. So that's the overview. And there's another reason why Hanukkah, if you will, is the time to go to wage war against mechanical road behavior, because it's a big challenge. Let's just take Purim, okay? Purim, you have the mitzvahs and the Gillah and this and that. It's basically, it's one day. So you have the excitement, you have this built-in excitement of the Rekriyas Megillah and drinking and the Suda. It's one day, right? or let's say, okay, Pesach and Hutzlar, it's 2 nights, right? 2. Hanukkah, you're doing the same thing for 8 days. We're going to be reciting Hallel 8 days, lighting candles 8 days. We're going to be reciting Al Anisim. My figures in Shemona Esrei around 26 times. So here's where we have to face the foe of rote, where a repeated behavior tends to make a person less connected, and we want to be more connected. All right, that's the backdrop. This is the time to rise to the occasion and invest in the experience rather than depend on the experience. Okay, with that, I'm going to present you an overview of how we're going to approach Hanukkah. I thank God I had, I believe, some Siyata Shmaya to come up with a acronym that's 8 letters. It's 8 letters. And what are the 8 letters? They spell Chanukah. So let me show you this. I'm going to show you the Hanukkah challenge, the 8 activities that we're going to really try our best to rise forth with. Sharing screen. How are we looking, Rabbi Michael?
Okay, it's getting there. Yep, we're up.
Excellent. Okay. These are 8 strategies against rote. All right. And let's just, I'm going to go through a brief discussion of each one. But here's the overview. Okay. You see it spells Chanukah. I mean, Baruch Hashem, 8 letters and 8 activities. Candle reflections. That's the first one. How Kavanas for Hallel. Al Anisim and Shmona Esrei. New Hidushim on Hanukkah. Utilizing Hanukkah Sudos. Kavana for Hanukkah songs. Al Anisim and benching. Notice Al Anisim and Shmona Esrei. Al Anisim and benching. And finally, Hodah on Hanukkah. If we make some headway in any, and especially all of these, it will be an amazing Hanukkah, and we will really do the service, the avoda, with the opposite of laxity. All right, let's begin. So we're going to first talk about Hanukkah reflections, and this is an experience that some of us have done together for several years, and I found it just a big game changer. And that is, and here's the theme. You might want to note this. The more you reflect, the more you connect. That's the theme of really, it's a major theme with Kavanah Mitzvahs, the KLM. All right, the more you reflect, the more you connect. Now, people who lived in America, it was actually a radio show, and then it became a TV show. It was in the 50s. It was called You Were There. And what they did is they went back in time to some famous, I actually, for research, I saw the one about the Declaration of Independence. They took you back there. You see Benjamin Franklin and Thomas Jefferson, and you were there, okay? This is the way to approach Halachas Neros Hanukkah. You got to go there. You have to be there. Let's take a look. All right. Strategy number 1, put yourself in the Beis HaMikdash and reflect on all the nisim that happened. Okay. And where you see in the purple bubble is the kavana for the mitzvah. But first, let's discuss this strategy. Okay. What you have to do is imagine that you're part of the Hashmonaim. You break back into the Beis HaMikdash, and this is one thing, the famous thing. Miracle number 1 is if you see the Gemara in Shabbos about Hanukkah, Timu Kol Hashmanim. It says in the Al Nisim, they made impure all of the oils except one. right? The fact that the Yavanim didn't find this one flask was already a miracle. So what you have to imagine is imagining going into the base of Mikdash and into the area where the menorah is, or where they keep in the storehouse of the oils. You see everything's a mess, and then you see wait a minute, what is that? And the seal's not broken, right? So you be there. You should be there, go there, right? And then the second night, imagine the fact that, they fear, okay, well, at least we got one night of pure oil. Now we'll have to use impure oils. It keeps burning. How long? Day 3, they see it burned an entire other day. Open miracle. And you go through till each night. The reason we say Hallel every single day of Hanukkah, one of the main explanations is because there was a new miracle every day. Okay, so candle reflections. That's strategy number 1, so that we can battle against rote. Each day, place yourself there. What's the miracle? What's the mitzvah to have in mind? There's a mitzvah, and something that someone pointed out to me is, with KLM, we're not just reminding you to have in mind mitzvahs that you do all the time. We do that so you connect more, right? But also, we're illuminating mitzvahs that many people may not be aware of. And that's because even though there are 613 general categories of mitzvahs, there's really more in the Torah. Many commentators discuss this. So that's my introduction to this mitzvah. At the end of the first paragraph of Aleinu, it says, "V'yadat hayom v'ashevosa el levavecha," right? You should know today and bring to your heart that Hashem is God. In the heavens above, the earth below, there's no another. Rabbeinu Yonah says, that means that how do you know and take to heart? You reflect on the wonders of the world and say, that's amazing, right? So the Nes Hanukkah is definitely a fulfillment of the mitzvah to reflect and know the wonders of Hashem. So have in mind, while you do these candle reflections, that you're fulfilling that mitzvah. Okay, that's C. Now let's go to the next one. Al Nisim in Tefillah. Oh no. Give me a second there. It's out of order. Apologies. Okay. Al Nisim in Shmona Esrei. So let me begin first by the mitzvah here. The mitzvah is something that you mention every day. Everyone mentions this every day. There's among the mitzvahs that have fruits now, that mean you will experience some blessing in your life, right? Some providential blessing, and it still won't take away from your reward in the world to come. What mitzvah? Iyun tefillah. Now, one explanation of Iyun, the classic, is that while you're davening, you are intensely reflecting on what you're saying. So that's a mitzvah of Iyun tefillah. But even the preparatory step, according to Rabbi Miller and others, is the mitzvah of Iyun tefillah, and that is to study the prayer text. When you do that, you're going to connect more, and you're going to fulfill the mitzvah of Iyun tefillah. And obviously, it's a way to remember 26 times you're going to be reciting this. So you need to input new insights into Al Nisim. I'll provide one for you tonight. If you send me a message, I do have a collection of insights into Al Nisim. And by the way, there's the Sefer Siftei Chaim by Reb Chaim Friedlander on the holidays. He has an entire explanation. Okay, here's one, right? We mentioned that there were 52 years of decrees against us. And suddenly, right, there's the defeat, the military victory, the defeat of the Yavanim, and this open miracle. How was there in Purim, there was a national tshuva movement. So, okay, Hashem makes a nace for a national tshuva movement. Reb Friedlander points out there was how many Hashmonayim? 12, 13 people did tshuva, right? And yet Hashem made an even greater miracle than Purim. He made an open miracles. So that, what does that explain? Rachamecha Rabbi. When we recite an Ala Nisim on your tremendous mercy, that is merciful to do such miracles for a few people who really brought their game back up. Okay, so we just did the mitzvah of Ala Nisim, of Iyun Tefillah, right? So again, have that in mind whenever you reflect on. You can also just read the text and think about the text. But the point is, that's how you do it. Oh, by the way, it was in order. Okay, I jumped to 8 here. CH, Hallel Kavanos. Okay, so the word Hallel to most people is translated praise, and they're partially correct, but it's a special type of praise. The word Hallel, from Rabbi Miller also points this out, is from the word Yalel. Yalel means wild, means wildly enthusiastic, right? So your approach to the Hallel, the strategy against rote, because we're going to be reciting Hallel 8 plus, right, yeah, 8. I think we're 8, right? Yeah, 8 times, right? So approach it with excitement. And as we said before, there were 8 separate miracles. That's why we recite Hallel 8 times, the entire Hag. That's okay. So number 1 is excitement. Again, take your reflection you did in the lighting at night and in chakras in the morning when you say Hallel, infuse that excitement. I can't believe it. It went another day. Okay, so that's the overall approach. But then also there is another, so that's what we'll call the Kavanas Halev, putting your heart into, because Hallel, we recite Hallel when Hashem did something amazing. So we should have Hallel is a praise about something amazing. So be amazed and excited when you recite it. That's one. But also, another way to acquire more mitzvos and be more connected to what you're doing is in the second Tehillim in Hallel, B'tzeis Yisrael Mi Mitzrayim, right? So here's another illumination of another mitzvah that it's important to know. With Kriya Shema, let's just take in Kriya Shema, you have an obligation twice a day to remember Yetzias Mitzrayim. That's an obligation. But Yetzias Mitzrayim and Shabbos, when you remember that at another time, you're also fulfilling Zecher Yetzias Mitzrayim. For example, everybody have in mind right now, Zecher Yetzias Mitzrayim. Hashem took the water and turned it to blood. It wasn't red water, it was blood, a complete flip of the chemical composition. Right? We just fulfilled Zecher Yetzias Mitzrayim. So in the second Tehillim, B'tzeis Yisrael Mi Mitzrayim, have in mind the mitzvah d'oraisa to remember Yetzias Mitzrayim. I could go on further. There are many miracles alluded to in that Tehillim. Each one is a mitzvah for remembering Hashem's miracles. Okay? We've covered C, H, A, Al Nisim Shmona Esrei. Next, new insights on Hanukkah. All right? So again, we said that Hanukkah presents a particular challenge to maintain enthusiasm the whole time because you're doing the same thing 8 days. The best, without question, the best way to keep an excitement about Hanukkah is learn a new insight into Hanukkah each day. You know, with the filtered internet, even there is so much Torah available these days. Thank God. So everybody, just what you need to do, as it says here in Strategy 4, make a commitment, bli netter, that you're going to learn a new insight into Hanukkah each day. It can just be one little insight, but a new one each day. So you've accumulated new things, because Torah is something that's by definition new. It says that, you know, why do we get kind of, let's say, you know, familiarity dwindles enthusiasm, right? Why is that? Because in truth, there's nothing new under the sun. The Torah was created before the sun, says the Gemara in Shabbos. And that means, as Rabbi Green pointed out, the insights of Torah are coming not from they're coming from out of this world, out of the universe, and entering in. So make that commitment. 8 little insights, one a day. Okay, so we've covered all right, utilizing Hanukkah pseudos. This is about the food, right? Reflect, don't just gobble. In other words, why do we eat soup ganiot, donuts, and latkes? Because they contain oil, right? That's why we eat them. So as we said, reflect and connect, right? Why you're going to eat it and enjoy it, you might as well eternalize the eating process, okay? And here's another mitzvah you can fulfill. The Rambam says that when you reflect on the wonders of Hashem, it's a fulfillment of Avas Hashem because it creates a sense of Ava, right? So while you're reflecting, when you're eating the oily stuff, you should have in mind the mitzvah of Avas Hashem for the wonders and miracles that he does for us, okay? Okay, Kavanah for Hanukkah songs. This is a similar concept, right? Look at the strategy. When singing Maoz Tzor or other Hanukkah songs, think of what the words are guiding us to. You know, they want us to be thankful for this salvation. You know, in Maoz Tzor, for example, it discusses how Hashem saved us from Mitzrayim and from, of course, from in the Yavanim and in Purim. It goes through all these incredible miraculous things, and also when we sing Allah Nisim, all the songs, just put a little thought into what you are being grateful for, and again, have in mind it's the same mitzvah as with the eating. Have in mind Avos Hashem for His wonders, and you have the joy of singing to enhance it, to do it b'simcha. Allah Nisim in benching. I want to mention one of my favorites stories of all time, and that is this rabbi has a nice big Shabbos table, and it's right before benching, so he feels it important to make a quick announcement. He says, by the way, when you're benching, don't forget to thank Hashem. So we know that most people that hear that, they chuckle. Why? Because they know you can bench and not be feeling a gratitude towards Hashem. You could forget to thank Hashem. You could even focus and on the meaning of the words of the benching, which is something. It's great, but you could still not feel that gratitude, right? So let's take advantage of Hanukkah being the holiday of Hodah, the Yom Tov of gratitude, and therefore in the Al Nisim, let's train ourselves in the Al Nisim, and when you recite Al Nisim in benching, feel gratitude, and even more, we'll see in 1 second you're expressing gratitude. Okay, now we come to the final H, okay, of Hanukkah, and for this I'm just going to give a quick introduction. A wonderful way to frame Hanukkah is that it's a workshop on Hodah, right? You hear this? It's a workshop on the midah of gratitude. We should be, from the beginning of Hanukkah to the end of Hanukkah, at the end of Hanukkah, we should have risen levels and levels in the characteristic of gratitude, the midah of gratitude. And there's 3 levels to gratitude if we think about it. This is very, very, when you have a clarity of what's involved in the mitzvah, you can obviously do it better. So level 1 of gratitude is a feeling. You feel gratitude. That's important, very important. Level 2 on the ladder of gratitude is to express that appreciation you felt in your heart to the one who provided you with the good. An even higher level is to give back to the other, to reciprocate. Let's say, your wife prepares some food for you, so you can feel, wow, this is so nice. She takes the time to do this and does this for me. But then there's a different thing. We say, thank you so much. It is beautiful. And then even better to buy them flowers, right? So ready? Hanukkah is 8 days of training on all three letters of the ladder of gratitude. Okay, so let's discuss this. Ready? When you're eating the oily foods, feel gratitude. And again, if we approach this with consciousness and awareness, you're going to cultivate this critical midah of a karasatov on a whole other level. So number one is when you eat, besides the fact that you're reflecting on the miracles, realize every time I eat and actually think about what Hashem did with oil and milk, right? And you feel gratitude, you're developing that midah, okay? Next, that's level one. Level two is expressing your appreciation. Where do we do that? In the Al Nisim prayers, in the 26 Al Nisims, not to mention when you're benching, right? And Hallel. Hallel is an expression, intense expression of appreciation, right? So you see that level two of the ladder of gratitude development, it's right there for us. And finally, and this is quite beautiful, we can actually, if you will, give back. We can give back to Hashem on Hanukkah. How do you do that? Well, wouldn't you agree with me that if you help a person accomplish their mission or their purpose, if you contribute to their accomplishing their most important goal, certainly that's giving back. What's Hashem's primary goal? Well, it says in Pirkei Avos, Hashem created the world only to reveal his glory to mankind. Obviously for us, obviously so mankind will make a relationship, but let's go back to it. It's to reveal his kavod, his glory. When you light the candles, what mitzvah are you doing? Pirsumi Nisa. You're publicizing Hashem's glory to the world. You're giving to Hashem by helping him, if you will, achieve his purpose. It's just amazing what Hanukkah offers us. And you see here, this is the mitzvah of remembering Hashem's kindness. According to Rabbeinu Yonah, thanking Hashem for his kindness to us is a mitzvah d'oraisa. Okay, this is the, I'll just give you recommendations. One is we'll post this and you can print it out and you have this map. And if you're on WhatsApp or LinkedIn, we're going to be posting some short videos and some little posts to help remind us to make sure that we infuse this holiday with miraculous levels of appreciation, going against nature and staying enthusiastic. Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, Rabbi, thank you very much for continuing the keeping it going even whilst you're away, and we really appreciate that. We're waiting for
thank you for your
show.
Right.
Yes,
Go ahead.
I was a bit disappointed that your accent didn't change. I don't know. I don't really understand why you're in London. I don't know why you're still speaking like an American, but I guess you have some time to catch up. 200 and something years hasn't been enough. In any event,
over and help me.
In any event, I just want to do a bit of a musical interlude.
Hold me, love me. I ain't got nothing but love, baby. 8 days a week. Love you every day, girl.
So I couldn't resist. Okay, so
fantastic.
8 days a week. On that note, I remember an acting teacher of mine, in the theater in Broadway, there's 8 shows. And what the acting teacher says is, it's a matinee on Wednesday and on Saturday. So there's 8 shows. And he says, look, when you're performing the same show 8 days a week, he says, you can't phone it in. And I remember he banged the table. He says, you got to create it every darn time, meaning no phoning in. And so, that's a real challenge when, it's the same. And, the good actors, they have all different ways to create it every time. And I was just thinking in terms of, the sea of the Chanukah, lighting the candles and really putting yourself in there. I think one of the actors' tricks that can be helpful is a substitution. You were talking about how they would feel. They found this, this package of oil, right? So we all have moments where we're kind of desperate for something. Just think about you're traveling and you're just super hungry and a headache's coming on, and you have a thought, you're on a train or something, and you say, maybe did I leave something in my bag? Wait. I think I had a chocolate bar from like 2 days ago, and you open your bag and boom, there's a chocolate bar. How would you feel at that moment?
Beautiful.
Like, oh my, and like your life is saved. Or you ran out of money and you're like stranded, and you then just think, after checking all your pockets, wait a minute, I left $20 in the bottom of my brief. Boom, you find that $20, it's like somebody gave you $1 million at that moment. So if you just think like in your own life, that's
Beautiful.
substitution. And that's what actors do all the time. They're saying something completely different, but they're thinking about a personal experience to generate the emotion that goes with that experience.
That's so fantastic. Well, please, everybody, take note. What an enhancement. I was speaking to someone who's a different guy from Hollywood, a director, and he was talking about how, he wasn't a fan of going over your script and saying your script, because he's saying that people can sense you're just repeating the same thing. So I said, wait a minute, but actors have to do that. So he said to me, he says, that's why they get paid so much.
Shir shir chadya